That's like one of the best things to get to do. Waiting for anyone? There we go. Warren is here. Hi, Warren. All right. And there's Walter. So we're going to get right to it. All right. Hi, Heather. How are you? Forgive me a moment. I got to invite my guest on. Okay, Walter, you're unable to join. Send her. Hey, Warren. Okay, so we, once again, it is telling me that Walter is unable to join, and I'm not sure why. Um, so give me a moment here to bring him on. See, I'm sending an invite, send request. Okay, so I don't know what that means. I don't know what happens on your end when you get a request, but I'm trying to send Walter a request to join. We're waiting on the guest here. Walter, don't type in the chat. You have to figure out how to hit this button to join the conversation. Warren, it says he's unable to join. I don't know if you can hear me, but can you guys figure that out on your end? Okay, hold on, right on. Thanks. Hey, Tim, how are you? Good to see you here. So I am waiting for my guest to join me. We're going to be talking about the movie Coffee Breaks. And I don't know what it means when people say they're unable to join. I don't know why. I don't know what requirements are needed to join this live conversation. So Walter is fairly new to Instagram, so I don't know what has to happen on his end to make it happen to join the live conversation. So we're figuring out the technical difficulties. But anyway, we're going to be discussing Coffee Breaks, the movie that is coming soon. Soon in COVID times, who really knows what that means? It said, yeah, he's like here, and so then when I invite him from this little camera, it says unable to join under his name. But like the rest of you all, I could easily click on you guys, and you would be able to join with me. So I click, and it says send request, and then nothing happens. Their settings might be set differently. It's possible. So we're having somebody figure that out while we wait. Hey, Rod, good to see you. Hope everything is going well. I know it is. I follow you a lot. I know Tim is doing a movie. I want to give a shout out to Tim's movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but I know that it's shooting in San Francisco, and it's a really great COVID story. So Tim, I know your movie is going to rock. Rodney, good job on congratulations on your engagement. This is just shout out time, I guess. So, that's what we're doing here. But I do pay attention to what you guys are doing. So I have a few things coming up, I guess, while we wait. I am doing a horror film in a couple of weeks. And hey, thanks, Ron. So I have a horror movie coming up in a couple of weeks, and I decided that the character should look different than I normally do. So I actually cut my hair. I cut my hair pretty good. I used to be able to put it up in a ponytail, and now I can't. So it's a lot of inch off there. So that's for a new upcoming role, because I play a cameraman, and I decided that I wanted to do it a little differently. As a cameraman, I feel like I have some kind of freedom as to how I can look in that. Because a lot of the cameramen I know all look different. There's so many different cameramen. I guess lifestyles. Let me try to add my guest again. We're talking about we're hoping to be talking about Coffee Breaks, the movie. We're gonna try to do this. It still says unable to join. Walter, I don't know what's going on here. Warren, you got to get this fixed. We don't technically test before we interview. We just do it. So you get what you get here. That's the benefit of live television. Completely unscripted. I just do I just talk, which is something I'm really good at. Listening to myself talk. Is it going to be more suspense or graphic? The horror movie that I casted in, called Into the Further, and I guess it's more suspense. In fact, the only on-screen death is mine, which I wonder about. I'm thrilled to be cast. I'm a principal in the film. I'm not probably a star in the movie, but I'm definitely in it. And my death is the star of the film, perhaps. So it depends on how they choose to shoot the death scene. The death scene isn't described in the script, which is interesting. A lot of times it is, but this one just says killed. I think gruesomely is the word they used. How they choose to do it, I have no idea. I don't know if it'll be a practical effect. I don't know if it will be some kind of CGI effect. The truth is, I really don't know. And that's not stuff I get to know as an actor. I show up and they tell me, this is what you're going to do. And that's what I do. The only thing that I do is sort of prepare. I understand. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Warren. Quick update there that Walter, my guest, is trying to add his phone and see if that will work, perhaps. Let's hope, because I'm on the phone. I don't know this stuff. You guys got me doing this Instagram and TikToking. Anyway, back to the horror movie. So I really don't know. When I get to on set, I don't know what I'm in store for sometimes. Sometimes I do. Sometimes we'll have like Zoom calls, rehearsals, or things ahead of time, and then I know what I'm walking into. But oftentimes I don't. Oftentimes I just get there and it's like, or I'll plan for my death scene and then they won't shoot it that day. We ran out of time, we ran out of light, we ran out of whatever. We decided to move that scene. The person who does that effect couldn't be here, whatever. There's all kinds of reasons to that things don't happen. There always seems to be an extra added day on any shoot. No matter what you're doing in film, there always just seems to be an extra bonus day. Like, we got you for 3 days, but listen, there's likely a fourth one, and there always is. Let me see if my guest is prepared at some point here. Still says unable to join. Warren, you going to get it figured out? Yeah, the TikTok thing is not my favorite. I don't get down on it, but I went viral thanks to Illumably, this media company that I work with. They, hi Voz, I haven't seen you in so long. You are awesome. I just want you to know that. And I appreciate all of your photos that you post all the time. It's very cool. So, okay, let me see here. We might have our guest here. Oh, we got him. There we go. Our guest might be joining. So anyway, we're going to move away from the conversation of bagging on TikTok. I still want to shoot with you. Please don't forget that. I don't have a whole lot of time left in the Bay Area. That's a secret. Probably shouldn't have said that loud on right on TV here. But I would love to do that. Why is he unable to join? What is happening? Waiting for my guest. Heather, you were in a horrible B movie as an extra. I don't do extra work. I don't like it. It's you can only eat so many snacks off the crafty table. Like, I'm just not there for that. Let me see if I can get my guest on here Okay, so I click it. It says unable to join. Walter, Warren, what is happening? UW guy names. Anyway, just waiting on my guest, Walter Maseda, to join. And we didn't get snacks. Yeah, the level of crafty at different shoots is always unknown. Again, when you're an independent contractor, right? Like, anything you do in this job, you just kind of don't know what you're walking into, which is why a lot of directors and actors choose to work together repeatedly. There isn't a whole lot of guesswork when you have when you know what you're walking into. So when I get on set, I never know. I don't know if I should have eaten before, or if they're going to feed us, or what they're going to feed us, or anything. I just never know, and that's half the fun of being an independent contractor, or an actor, and he's still unable to join. I really hope they're figuring this out. Excuse me here for a second. The show's called Coffee Breaks, but we're in San Francisco here on California. It's 90 degrees here in California. So I am having a chillin' spring summer day. I'm loving it. I couldn't be happier. I get to do a live interview at some point, and just relaxing. So the day is good. Things are going well. I'm feeling good. Hey, Nash, always good to see you. Let's see what's going on here. Oh my God, he's still. Warren, I'm going to interview someone else if you don't get. You got water on the set. Heather, your comments are hysterical. Where was this, Heather? Where was this that you shot this this horror movie, or where you were an extra and they didn't treat you well? Where was that? Because I did extra work for Warner Brothers and stuff, and they took care of us pretty good. Try now, okay. There's Warren. There we go. There we go. We're on. My goodness. It said it was going live. Come on, machine. Okay, so he came on, Warren, he came on, and then I clicked it, and it said going live, and then it said unable to join. Oh, I can hear somebody talking. We might be there.
We are here.
There you are. That's a great camera angle. So, okay, we're getting a brief tour of how Walter lives.
Yeah, there we go. Let me get in the light where you can see me.
Yeah, it's almost like you were anticipating being interviewed today at some point.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Niagara.
There we go. Now we can see each other.
Now we can see each other. There we go. Okay, Heather, it was in Niagara Falls. Thank you so much. I'm going to get to the guests now. Walter, thank you for being here. Thanks for joining me. And
thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about coffee breaks, obviously.
Awesome.
That's what brought us together. That's why we're here. Coffee breaks. I'm going to give a little promo for those who are with us who don't know. Written by Tracy Simpson. She is an award-winning writer, member of the Writers Guild. This is a big-time film. It has been pitched to major production houses, directed by Matt Sly, and I don't want to go on record as naming producers just yet, but also with us is Warren, and he's sort of our production assistant, and he's the one who makes the behind-the-scenes happen, and so we're always glad to have him, and he also keeps us going with fun facts and odd things. So, Walter, welcome. Tell me, right off the bat, let's get to it. Your character, who you've been cast as, go ahead and tell me.
I'm Mr. Miles, which is a very brief part in the film, but as I've learned, there are no small credits, so it's a case of being Michael's boss in the film. And with that, it's like I think we only have a scene together, but I'm good with it because everybody has a job and everybody's going to contribute to the story we're watching about this family and the daily going-ons.
That's right. And you actually, you're my boss, so, and we do get to work together, which is great. And you actually scare me, and you
destroy expensive equipment.
That's what it is, and I destroy expensive equipment. So, which is very good. And is that your do you come back in another scene in that? I don't remember, but
no, amazingly, that is the only scene I'm in.
That's the one scene. Okay.
But it's okay. I can work in a hair and makeup department as well.
Right, of course. And like you said, there is no small parts, especially in this movie because it is such a big production.
Yes, and it's another credit, which I love. That just goes into the resume. So
right. Well, and it's a good credit. It's interacting with the principal. So,
yes, it is.
Right, man. Anytime I interact with the principal, I'm thrilled. You're Mr. Miles, my boss in the film, and I guess I'm sort of a tech guy, which, judging by how I do this, I'm really not. I really don't know too much about this tech stuff. So tell me how you came to be, not like how did you become an actor, but how did you come to be in this movie? I know the story, but I want the audience to know. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a long-standing friendship with Warren. We've worked together before because we've both been in the Tampa area where a lot of films get made. We first met on the set of Brain Robbers from Outer Space, which was an unofficial sequel to Plan 9 from Outer Space. We had Conrad Brooks in the film, who was in the original Ed Wood film. And we learned kamikaze filmmaking through that. There were no permits. We did pretty much Ed Wood style on that film, where we would show up at the police station and just start shooting.
With a camera.
And then it led, yeah, pretty much. And it was almost like that theory at times of run.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't say we showed up at the police station and started shooting. You have to say
no.
we showed up at
filming.
The police
We
station,
started
filming.
filming.
There you go. Right. So,
although the interior of the building we gave them was across town and was much nicer than the actual police station, but it continued over into other movies, and Warren and I have always shot ideas back and forth, and I almost feel like some of them were stolen. We don't have J.J. Abrams' money. We talked about Castle Rock at least 2 years before it came out.
Right. We
also talked about a documentary on The Dale, which HBO just did.
Yeah. In horror movies or in that kind of field, I hear that a lot. Ideas get, taken and
they get tossed around, and if you don't have the time and the money, somebody's going to beat you to the punch.
Somebody does it. It's true. Yeah.
So I've got another script that I am working on, hoping to shoot later this year, but I'm not talking about it right now, except to say it's a thriller.
Okay, right, yeah, and that's a thing a lot of people don't understand is our script is trademark, copyrighted, etc. But a lot of scripts are not. So there's things you can't say because, like you said, other people will go take that idea or riff off it or whatever the case might be.
But how Coffee Breaks came up, there were two different films that were being talked about. One was Buzzkill, one was Coffee Breaks.
Yeah,
and they were being talked about together. And this is the one that has come to fruition. And it was very exciting to hear Wesley Ure and Kathy Coleman have joined the cast.
Right. Yes. So I'm glad you brought that up. I wasn't ready to.
I'm sorry, I jumped the gun on you.
That was a great segue. So let's talk about that. Yeah. I mean, Wesley Ure and Kathy Coleman from Land of the Lost, obviously. Wesley Ure also created Dragon Tales, this wildly popular kids show. And I'm sure Warren will chime in with all these things Kathy Coleman has done, but I know her, as you probably do best, is from Land of the Lost. So having them on is definitely very exciting. I mean, I get to work with them too, I think. I hope.
I believe you do.
Right. Yeah, because there's a dinner scene, and I think, you know what? I don't know if I work with him because he's Dr. Clark. And
that's true.
I don't have any scenes with the therapist, I don't think.
I don't think you do. I just reread the script last night.
Right. Good. Oh, that's good.
I don't think that you do. It's like I wanted to refresh my memory before I talked to you today because we're not ready to shoot yet. So.
Right. The more it keeps getting further away, so I keep having to go back and not that it's further away. It's actually not any further away, but it gets further away from when I've read the script last. And so I feel you, right. You have to reread it.
Yeah, well, it's just like if it was something I had done prior, I would have rewatched it last night before we talked today. So. Right.
So let's talk about some of the things you've done prior. Specifically, you were in Brain Robbers.
I was in Brain Robbers from Outer Space. I did a film early on with a special effects artist, Marcus Cook. He owns Autopsy.
Okay.
He's done some films with Barbara Crampton. He did 100 Tears, which was about Gertie the Killer Clown, and that was a very memorable movie-making experience with Rod.
Is that a true story? Gertie the Killer Clown?
No, Gertie was completely created, and the first 5 minutes of the movie are so incredibly creepy as he puts his face on. He is such a sad-looking clown with black and white makeup, but turned down.
Right.
And it's very unsettling to actually watch him do it.
Yeah.
So,
when you watch someone become a character like that, it is intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it is a splatter film. There is no way around that. It is like, that's blood and guts galore.
And
I went on, I've done some films with Joel D. Wynkoop, who started out in basically the Truth or Dare series that Tim Ritter produced. And he's done more than 100 films now.
wow.
And I envy that he got to work with H.G. Lewis before he passed and do the Uh-Oh show.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
And it's just been jobs here and there. And it's like, aside from, I do live entertainment as well. So it's like, it's not just film, it's not just movies, it's live shows. And I just like being out there making people entertained.
right. So, okay. So in that one with the clown, the dark makeup one, your character, do you die in that one?
No, I was not in the film. It was that's one that Marcus made.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
I did Rot with him, which was, easiest way to describe it is Sid and Nancy meets Return of the Living Dead.
Okay. And do you die in that one?
Yes, beautifully.
You do? Okay.
They put a gun right here and blow my head out onto a door.
Wow. And so tell us about that. How did they achieve that effect?
Okay, that was a bunch of wires run up under the back of my clothing. The hose was attached right about here. They loaded it with Karo syrup and food color, which is pretty much what they used in Carrie to dump a bucket of blood on her. And through a huge syringe, they would push air through it at the exact second they needed it to spray the door. We sat there all night shooting that scene because the effect didn't want to work, and we had to stop and clean up every time and start over. So I spent about, I would say, 8 hours for what's about 3.5 seconds of movie.
So people don't realize that's what it takes to make a scene like that. Because
Absolutely. And then when it was done, they applied the wound. And they mixed oatmeal into the mixture on the floor and cornflakes to make it look like brain matter. And I laid there for hours dead while they took those shots.
Man, that's pretty remarkable. Yeah, that's the thing is that to get into that effect, and then you have to pretend to be dead. So you have to be stiff the whole time.
Well,
you know,
I had to play dead twice in that movie. That was the first time. And what made it difficult partially was I had to spit the blood out of my mouth at the exact second it started spraying here. It had to match. So if that timing was off, it ruined it. But we had a night where one actor didn't show up. I had shaved my head for the character.
Oh.
An actor didn't show up when they needed a corpse, and Marcus came up to me and asked me, "How brave are you feeling?" And I'm like, okay, this is one of my questions. How brave are you feeling? He's like, would you do full frontal in this movie as a corpse? Well, I agreed to do it. The actor wasn't there, so I did full frontal in this movie as a corpse and had to be dead while this monologue was going on around me that was the most hysterically funny thing you've ever heard, and I was chewing the inside of my jaw so the corpse would not start laughing.
Wow, while you're naked.
Yes.
That's a fairly remarkable scene. So,
Go ahead.
But go on, please.
I was going to say, when the movie was complete, without thinking, I sent a copy to my grandma. I completely forgot this scene existed in the movie. She watched the movie. I probably called her about a week later, and I asked her, did you like the movie? And she goes, not in particular. And it's like, well, I didn't think you would. It was violent. And she's like, no, you were naked. And then it comes back. It's like, oh, no.
Right.
And I went, yes. And she goes, all your business was hanging out. Yes. What do you have to say for yourself? I took my piercing out to shoot the scene.
There you go.
What do you say? I mean, there was nothing to say at that point.
Yeah.
I took my piercing out to shoot the scene.
You know, my parents, right? They watch my movies. Well, okay.
Mm-hmm.
When my parents come to visit and I force them to watch some of my films, my mother says, which is the God's honest truth, my mother says, I go, Mom, what do you think? And I'm asking, what do you think of my performance? But my mother says the same thing every time. Jason, I don't like those kind of movies. I go, yeah, I know. I go, but what do you think of me? Like, you were fine, Jason, but that, I don't like that. And you know, and I don't even show her the whole film, but obviously the scenes I'm in, you know, sometimes I'm the bad guy. You know, what am I going to do?
When I did Fall of an Actor, I had the scene where I rape a character. My grandma shot daggers across the room and goes, I don't like you very much right now.
Right.
And it's like, I didn't rape anybody.
Yeah, my dad, the same thing. My dad, I did this music video, and I don't often play a cop. In fact, you know, there's just some roles I don't dig, so I don't usually take the cop, but I did it for this guy. And he says, you know, I showed it to my dad, and it was for a music video. So the intention was, it was playing on this guy's history where he gets arrested. And I play the cop pretty aggressively the way they wanted me to. And my dad says, Jason, I didn't like that video. That video made me very uncomfortable. The way you did that was very angry. And I was like, Dad, I'm just paid to do it that way. Like,
it's a character in a film.
But, you know, my dad, I didn't like it, Jason. It was, you know, and you know, and it's true that sometimes we make these movies and people see them and don't know there's a difference between us and the character. You know,
of course. And sometimes you do get into an uncomfortable place when you're shooting, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. You know, when we shot that police officer role, we were in a pretty bad area of Sacramento, and some people came out and were yelling bad stuff at me, and like getting pretty hostile. And we had to stop shooting and say, "Hey, whoa, he's an actor. This isn't real," because people were, you know, they couldn't tell the difference. We were, you know, I don't know what seeing the cameras, they don't understand, but they were pretty hostile. You know.
There was one film we worked on. The sequence actually got cut out of the movie where I became the victim of a hate crime. But it didn't fit the flow of the movie, so the whole sequence got lost. But people found that disturbing over and over, the ones that did see it before it got cut. And they didn't realize everybody I worked with that particular night, we were all friends. Nobody was upset by what was going on. It was
right.
We were playing. That's why I say making movies or doing shows, it's how we get to play as grown-ups.
Yeah, I guess it's grown up playtime, right? You know, I did this one that was it was a Black Lives Matter video, and people couldn't understand that we were actors. I mean, like, they couldn't separate that the lady's name actually isn't Karen.
Right.
You know, we just named her that. And that we don't actually think that kid, we love him. He's in all of our movies. Like, you know what I mean? And they can't separate. So to the point where my brother was like, Jason, you got to start like taking your info offline. People are like, they were hostile about this video. And, you know, it was a shock to find out there's people who don't know that actors are pretending. Like,
right.
You know, that I'm not actually robbing their house. You know, I did it because that's what the script said to do, not because
exactly.
Right. So, go on. We're gonna.
Yeah, we worked on a mockumentary, and people believed what they saw so much on a mockumentary called Fall of an Actor that when it was playing a festival, we decided to have a phony war online. We were playing. I got a couple really violent threats over Facebook.
There you go.
Because of what I did.
Right. Exactly my point. Exactly. And so at what point as an actor do you go, I'm making these controversial moves maybe. I have to protect myself. I can't even imagine what it's like to be a celebrity. I mean, you know what I mean? Like somebody like that has to have layers of protection. I think.
I met Jane Curtin one time while I was in Las Vegas. I was able to get her out for a cup of coffee. And I told her that I envied what she got to do for a living. She made people laugh.
Okay. She
told me, I envy you. And I went, why? And she's like, you can walk into McDonald's. I can't.
Uh-huh. Right.
So.
Right. So at what point is the fame not worth the freedom, perhaps? Like, you know, I mean, I think as actors, we're all shooting for some level of recognition. But at what point is that a sacrifice of personal freedom you just have to make?
Mm-hmm.
You know? So,
And it is my thing acting. I want to leave my mark on the world. I want to leave something behind for people to have, and I hope my work continues to get bigger and better. Doesn't matter even if it's the smallest part. Like I'm gonna have with you, it's a small part, but it is probably going to be the biggest budget film I've worked with thus far.
right.
So
It's
if
definitely
it entertains people and I've done my part, then I've done everything I'm supposed to.
right. So, okay, so bigger and better is the goal, right? I think as actors, that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what we all want. But that comes with a level of personal freedom sacrifice or perhaps safety. I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say it happens and I get recognized around town now and then. So, and you would think I was somebody really famous the way people react. And it's like you realize I work a regular day job right now. I don't have the mega bucks.
Right. Okay. So that's another assumption about us actors is that we're rolling or we have money or that we're just here on a Wednesday afternoon having a chat and a beer. I mean, so, because we have all this money, but the truth is we don't, right? Like as an independent contractor, you're self-employed.
Yeah, I live check to check like everybody else, and I have to make a house payment and a car payment, and it's always juggling and making sure I have the money in the bank to make the bills, waiting on that next acting job to come along.
My gosh, right? So it's tough. It's and then you have to do some gigs. You have to like for me, I have to land commercials and stuff because I have to make the money in between doing the motion pictures that I want to do.
Yeah, and it's like I'm getting ready to go back to clubs to entertain now that the world is opening back up. Why? I need to pad my income.
So I'm glad you brought that up. Another wonderful segue. Something I really wanted to talk to you about. So tell us why you are waiting for clubs to open back up.
Because I turn into my alter ego, Alexandra Elaine Michaels.
That is fabulous.
She also has an IMDb page.
Really?
Yes, I've made several movies as Alexandra as well. I wanted to be the divine of the horror set.
I love it. So, obviously, Divine made a mark.
Oh, hell yes, she did.
And had to do some pretty far out things.
I'm not going that far.
You're not? Okay, right.
I'm not going that far. We are refilling my coffee. It is coffee breaks.
It is coffee breaks. Yes, that's why I have mine here, and I tribute The Office when I do this. It also says "World's Best Boss" from the show, and I tribute.
I'm gonna be your boss. I don't know how good a boss, but I'm gonna be the boss.
You are indeed my boss. That's right. I keep forgetting that part. So anyway,
okay.
So you entertain as what do you call it? What is do you go by drag queen? Do you go by entertainer? What is the term you prefer?
My favorite term is gender illusionist.
Gender illusionist. Okay, I've never heard that. That's kick-ass though.
Because I can walk in the mall and go shopping and nobody pegs me.
You're that close. You're that good.
I am that good. You can look at the Facebook page and see.
I want to. I knew that you did that, but I didn't know there was a Facebook page.
I'll link it to you.
Okay, excellent. Please do. And say it again for the people. Say the name. Alexandra
Elaine Michaels.
There you go. So for those who are listening who don't get linked to the Facebook page, perhaps we can. I'm sure we can put that out there somehow. And
yes, Warren jokingly said he wished we could both be on here, and it's like, I'm not that good.
Right. Do you have a photo? Or do you have something you can show us?
Yes.
Something you can hold up?
Of course I do. Of course I do. Let me just boot up the computer.
I've never had this opportunity before. I've never had the opportunity to truly interview somebody who does what you do, somebody who's marvelous like that.
Just a second. There we go.
And so you apply for characters as both.
I do. And whoever will take me is what I will have. It's like as a child, I was very gender confused. but as an adult, I have worked it out.
Okay, there you go. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. So,
Yeah. Hang
uh,
on. I'm trying to find a good one here.
for
Keep
those,
talking.
for
I'm
those
right
who,
here.
I'll give a little promo for the break for those who have just tuned in or just started watching. We're talking with Walter Maseda about coffee breaks. What a good time to get a phone call. Wow, that is quite the transformation, man. Yeah, I don't think anyone would recognize that in the mall. You're right. That is pretty fantastic.
They don't. I can go anywhere.
Wow. And do you do that? Like, is that something like, like, or do you save it for the stage? How often do you become hurt?
I know this might sound bizarre. Some people may not understand it in all the days of pronouns and this and that. Alexandra's there part of the time. She's as much a part of me as a character I initially created. And it really ingrained into me to becoming part of me. So
Okay. So
it's like, so at those moments, to me, as strange as it'll sound to some people, she's very real.
right. Absolutely.
And I will not answer if you call me by the wrong name.
I understand that. So, have you ever played her in a film then?
Yes, I did. In Brain Robbers, that was actually the first time I put her on film. I take that back. That was an adult film when I did was much younger, but I don't even know what it's called now.
Okay.
I played a lesbian girlfriend. I worked at adult entertainment once upon a time when I was much younger.
Fascinating. And,
But
was that?
yeah, I had Alexandra in several movies now. We're moving outdoors. I'm going to feed my bad habit.
Oh, okay. That live television, you get all kinds of things, right?
Nothing like it.
So you live in Tampa. You live over there, and do you have like I know this is super stereotypical, so forgive this question, but do you have do you have alligators?
God, yes. There's a pond up the road. They keep coming out onto the road because it's mating season.
Oh, so you actually have one like a season. Obviously, they have
There
mating season.
is a pond around the corner, and the alligators go between ponds, so they're in the road constantly.
Fascinating. And
it's the one animal that scares the hell out of me.
You're kidding. That animal, that's the one that gets it.
Airplane going over, we're going in. Airplane going over, we're going in.
Duck and cover.
I don't want to smoke in my house. I do not want the smell in there.
Right, but you don't want to get spotted by an airplane either, because they might see you.
No, I don't want it to overpower what I'm saying to you right now. Nobody wants to hear that.
I know, I was kidding.
Yes, I'm terrified of alligators and crocodiles. I don't get along with them.
So what else do you have over there? Like, are there snakes?
There are some snakes, but not really here, not where we live, in residential. The water moccasins are the one you watch out for, and of course Florida's known for the skunk ape, but they're nowhere near here.
Wow.
That's a mini Bigfoot, a skunk ape.
Yeah, and okay, so skunk ape is the...
And I think the American cockroach is our national bird here.
Oh.
They're about yay big.
Yeah, and so why would anyone want to live with that thing?
Why? Well, it's a bug. You can kill it. It's a bug. You can kill it.
When I was a kid, I watched my aunt beat a cockroach to death in the hallway in Texas with a broom, and it was one of those big old flying guys. Yeah, she was.
If I see them, I yell game time. I grab the broom and we go.
I'm telling you. So, okay. Let's talk more about. I'm not really sure. I did want to mention something actually to you. I'm glad I thought of it.
Yes.
You are a performer in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes, I am.
And what character do you play?
I have played all the characters. It's like now when we do the conventions, I MC the shows. And when we do Tampa Theater, I'm assistant director. 2 years ago, we had Barry Bostwick as our special guest, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So we got to work directly with Barry Bostwick, and I got him to feel me up in a picture. So I had Barry Bostwick. He touched me. But I ended up playing Magenta for that show because the poor girl, Mary Beth, who was supposed to play it, got into a car accident 2 weeks before the show and broke her leg.
Wow.
And I had 2 weeks to remember something I had not done in 20 years.
Yeah.
But now it's like I like the younger kids to have it, and I pretty much sit behind the scenes doing things. It's like I had my joy with Rocky Horror, and I will honestly say the movie saved my life.
I understand that. So
Because at the time I came up, being a gay kid was not okay. But I found a place where I was accepted at face value with no questions asked, and I was allowed to grow comfortable in my skin.
yeah, I think it did that for a lot of people. I've been there quite a bit. I was a big part of the scene for a couple of years in Berkeley, California, actually, and they used to do it at the UC Theater. A fairly large production, and,
Right.
And I was not part of the show, but I'm me, and I kind of stand out wherever I go. So I was like a fixture.
Hey, I love that. And Comic-Con just contacted us because they're getting ready to do conventions again. So we are going to be slated to perform here in a couple months.
So let me ask you something that I heard, and it may be or may not be. I don't know where you stand.
Okay.
But I heard this rumor that, well, I shouldn't say it's a rumor. I heard one person's opinion that the conventions, and I don't mean Comic-Cons, but I mean the Rocky Horror Convention itself, like that it had gotten very cliquey, very like almost to where some people were feeling unincluded or not.
I actually can believe that happened. I can believe that happened, that some people are cliquish like that.
What's your take on that? A film that makes people feel inclusive becoming something uninclusive. What's your take on that?
I think it has more to do with the people involved at that point than it does the actual show. I've always had open arms for everyone. I'm going to welcome you in. One girl we brought in purely because I thought her self-esteem needed it. Nothing else. It wasn't that she gave me the best audition.
Okay.
And she bloomed like a flower being around us.
Right.
And this might sound strange and people may or may not agree with me, but I believe anybody that comes there might have been damaged on some level at some point, and you need that place of acceptance and support. But unfortunately, you get those groups where you have the mean girls, the Heathers, the popular girls, and they're allowed to dictate what happens.
Yeah, I guess that's going to happen, right? In any scenario, you're going to have that. There, in any job, in any kind of case, you're going to get those people who kind of do that. But given that it's Rocky Horror, you would think there would be more. I want to say tolerance, or less click. I don't know. But even when we were doing it, the cast, there was this cast is better than that cast, and so maybe I just didn't. Maybe I'm just not aware of it at that time.
Well, the thing is, every show's going to have a different quality as to what's good or what's bad, but the whole thing is about coming together and enjoying yourself.
Right.
That's the thing. It's like, because, yes, I could pick other people apart, but I'm not going to do it. It's like I'm too old for drama.
Yes. And that definitely happens when you get older. It starts to be, sort of not worth it.
If I want drama, I'll slap Titanic in the Blu-ray player.
I was fortunate recently to visit this Titanic exhibit where they had these relics from it. It was pretty unreal.
Yeah, I saw one like that too in Branson.
Okay, in Missouri. I'm assuming you mean Branson, Missouri. Okay. So, the one I saw was in Las Vegas. And did they have, when you saw it, did they have the hunk of the ship?
They had the staircase rebuilt, which was amazing. They had actual artifacts they had pulled up, like chairs that had been found and whatnot, were on display behind glass. You couldn't touch them.
Couldn't touch anything, right.
No, but they had water the correct temperature, and you were dared to stick your hand in to see how long you could keep it there. They had the different levels of how the deck would have been at certain moments. and you
Wow.
could climb them and let go to see if you could balance there or not.
Okay, we didn't have any of that. They had a piece of the ship that they had brought
That's
up
awesome.
that was like, I'm telling you, was the size of a house. It was, I mean, and it was all, so you could see the rivets. And they talked about how they had to treat it to get it from the bottom of the ocean to last, and how they have to like do this condition, but you couldn't get everything in there was, bulletproof glass and temperature gauges. And
The coolest thing they had in Branson was one of the models used for the close-ups in the film of the sunken Titanic.
okay.
They had one of the models that Cameron used to run the camera across.
Wow. So yeah, they didn't have anything from the film at this exhibit. This was all like actual boat things.
That's still pretty cool, though.
Oh no, definitely.
And to see an actual section of the boat.
Yeah.
I didn't get to do that.
Right. I mean, it was shocking. Like it was, the ship is so much bigger than you think it is, and then it's so much smaller than you think it is. When you see it compared to like a Carnival cruise line,
right.
But when you see it compared to like it was the biggest ship ever built of its time, it's still, pretty remarkable.
Yeah, we went on a cruise ship that looks big to us, but next to the Titanic, it would have been miniature. Even though to us, it was huge while we were on it.
Sure. Everything like for instance, I'll be down on the bottom of my house and I'll look up there and I'll think, oh, I got to get up there and sweep those leaves off, and then I go to get out the window and oh no, this is way higher than I thought. Like, not doing that. Have you ever done any of your own stunts in film?
I have done all of my own stunts in the film, and I'm getting to a point now where I've got to watch my back.
Right, because you get hurt doing them.
It happened the last time I shot a film, my character gets kicked. So when I went down, I just fell straight back, and those mats you work out on are really hard when you hit them.
Indeed.
And I landed flat on it, and it was like a day later, I was walking around hunched over like old Mr. Herbert on Family Guy looking for the paper boy.
Yeah, I seem to get hurt no matter what stunt I do, no matter how small, no matter how minimal. I do one where I'm just supposed to fall out of scene, and I swear I hit my head on the corner of this metal bed frame, and I was like, I didn't know that was there. I thought I had plenty of room, but inevitably, yeah, I get hurt.
Yes, we had a choreographed fight sequence, and all they had to do was jab me with a gun, and I ended up with a bruise the size of a pancake.
Exactly.
Because the gun contacted my skin.
Yeah, I fell on a gun shooting a scene, and it's a fake gun, right? But it hurts, and
it does hurt. But I enjoy doing fight sequences. There's something fun about the choreography of making it look good.
Right. And and the angle and that kind of stuff, So you're obviously, like you said, you're no stranger to being on set long hours, having shots set up.
Oh, goodness, no. And it's like people think it's glamorous. It's a lot of waiting around to shoot what you got to shoot.
Okay, people don't know that. They don't know that.
No, they don't.
I tell them, I go, they go, wow, you were in that movie? They act like I just went there and was like, hey, you ready? Ready? Okay, here we go. No, I was there for 10 hours.
And you shot 3 minutes of film.
Was it 3 minutes? I'd be lucky. I'm telling
we shot half a page.
I'm telling you, there's things people don't understand about being an actor, and that's one of them. That you sit there all day, or you just lie there, whatever the case might be. Sometimes I think to myself, well, I'm lucky I'm the actor in the seat.
Amen.
Because my other actor has to stand there, when you're setting up lighting or whatever the case is.
Yeah. The last job I did was actually a makeup job on a film named Inheritance that's running all the festivals right now.
Yeah.
I would have to wait around, and in between takes, I would run in to touch up the one actress I was responsible for to make sure her hair and makeup was right. And then I'd go hide for 20 minutes again while they were shooting. And
yeah, that's good. Yeah, and then right, because when you're the makeup person, you have to make sure you're nowhere to be seen on that.
And it takes lots of photos to make sure you make it look the same every time you put the person into this particular sequence of film.
Right, and there's the continuity.
Yes.
I only once I've been on a lot of films, a lot of stuff. Only once did I ever see the makeup artist look at the view, at the monitor and go, okay, and then come over and fix us up. And only once. You know, did I ever see them look at what the monitor was seeing? Normally they're just looking and they run over and do stuff. Maybe they know, but only once did I ever see, okay, this is what the monitor sees, this is what I should do. So you don't use the monitor technique? Is that a technique? I don't know.
I don't know. I have never done that in my life to watch a monitor. It's like I go by the photos I have and what I've done, and I know what I need to touch up to take it back to where it needs to be.
Right. I've never seen, that's what I mean. I've never had a makeup artist go by monitor. Usually, I don't see the makeup artist looking at the monitor typically.
They're not, it's like I don't even watch what they're doing.
Right. They're not there.
I sit around waiting for them to get done so I can do what I need to be doing.
That was for Cisco too. You know, the tech company Cisco that makes like WebEx and all this stuff. Yeah, that was for them. And they, but
oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so I was like, okay.
The most disappointing job I never got was actually on a soap opera, but
tell me about that.
Oh, they were auditioning for a character on Guiding Light years ago, and it was one of my grandma's shows, and I got pretty far along in the auditions, but then they rewrote the storyline, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, that's another thing as an actor, right? That you, until it's on film, a casting doesn't mean anything.
I also worked 2 days on a really low budget film that fell through after 2 days. So I shot for about 10 hours and well, that's it. It's gone.
Yeah. I've done that too. And
I was disappointed because I liked the original movie.
Right? At some point
we shot on the sequel. I played a crazy transvestite hooker.
Oh, wow. So that was like a moment you were like, I really want this for
I was so upset. It was a bad movie, but the character was a lot of fun.
Right. A lot of times is I just want to see the footage. What did I do? And you never get to.
I've never seen it, so I don't know.
Yeah. I did this homeless guy on a beach, a transient, and I do this really awful stuff, and then at the end of it, they go, okay, well, thanks, and I go, all right, what was it for? And they go, well, we just wanted to work together again. We probably won't even make the film. And I was like, why did I come out here? I mean, I got paid, but it's more than money, right? I want to see the film. I want to know what I did.
I want to see the film, and to me, more than the money, again, I love the creative process in making something and then getting to see the end result of everything we've done.
Right.
That's the satisfaction for me. And then if people like it, that's just a perk.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's because I'm probably not going to like it, my performance anyway. I never do. So if the people like it, then I'm happy. I do it for them.
I've got a shelf full of my own movies that I don't watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
If somebody's around that's not seen it, I might pull one out once in a great while and be like, here, watch this. But yeah, I would rather watch other people's movies and be entertained because I will just pick myself apart while I watch it.
Right, me too. So even showing it to my parents, right? Then that's just opportunity for them to pick it apart. I much rather when my fans watch my stuff, they're more forgiving.
Yes, they are, because they're amazed by what you do, but they didn't raise you or change your diapers either.
Yeah. I tell you, it's hard to impress my mother, right? Like you were talking about your grandma, and my mom. I say to her, Mom, I have an IMDb, and when I got one, I was so excited. Oh my God, I'm like a legit actor, Mom. You got to look. And she's going, Jason, I don't know what that is. And I'm going, okay, Mom, what you need to know. And then one day she writes me, she goes, Jason, what is that IMDb? Is that an agency? And I said, no, Mom, it's what actors have to promote themselves. And she goes, oh, because whenever I Google my Hallmark actors, they all have that. So, right. So I go, yeah, Mom, because they're real actors. That's why they have that. And, and then, so if it's not Hallmark, my parents could care,
Okay, I think your family may be related to my family at this point.
Right. I told my mom, I go, Mom, I had an audition for a Lifetime movie, and my dad was like, oh, Jason, that's something. That's really good. And I was like, oh, okay, at least my dad might think Lifetime is cool. I don't know if Lifetime is
I don't think
Hallmark.
I'm ever going to work with Candace Cameron Bure.
Is that who you're?
And she's like in every Lifetime movie and every Hallmark movie.
Right. Yeah. Like but I told my mom, hey, listen, at least I did something, and I had this casino audition, and my mom was like, oh, Jason, we go to Jackson Rancheria. And I was like, yeah, Dad, but I didn't land it, and so they don't, I've been this close to impressing my parents.
Well, my grandma became supportive, but she was not your typical grandma. She thought Showgirls was a great movie.
I mean, who's to say it wasn't, right?
Well, somebody freaked out on me when you showed that to your grandmother. It's like, what did they come up with that she doesn't know? She's old, not dead.
Right. Yeah. So,
and it's like we just lost her last year, but she did learn to appreciate some of the work I did. So as the movies became less full frontal and gross.
Yeah. I'm hoping to make the transition, right? And Coffee Breaks will give me that opportunity. I'm the good guy. I'm moving away from those bad guy roles. I get cast as the bad guy like a lot. It's some movie that my mom doesn't want to see. It's never anything but a rom-com. Finally, it could be the ticket.
That's what I said. It's like, this is different than anything I've been involved in. This is a romantic comedy.
Right, and it's so much bigger. Let's talk about because we're almost out of time. So I want to touch back on Coffee Breaks
yes.
again before we've talked about many things and had a great time. I've actually really enjoyed our conversation.
Now I'm looking forward to talking to you in person.
Right? I feel the same way. Thank you. But going back, just because your character it only is in a small portion of the movie does not mean that the television series, which I'm sure Warren has mentioned to you.
Yes, he has.
That the television series doesn't have a lot more room for your character. Because I believe, I'm pretty sure I'm in the TV show, hopefully.
I would think so.
so I think there's a lot more room for that. And I have it on good authority that you're probably in the series. I mean, at least good authority being Warren, typing that. So I mean, that's always
love you, Warren.
Right? It's always really great. That's the one thing that's Warren is he loves us or his people and wants us.
And he has the most incredible optimism, which I love about him.
Right. It's true. And him and I just know that this is the big movie. Well, I think we can all feel that.
It's like I said, this is so different from anything I've done.
Right.
It's like, in this case, this is not like the other films I have done. And this one's going to be structured really well. It's like I said, yeah, I might have a small part right now, but that's right now. It's an investment.
Right. And I have lots of small parts. Again, like you said, it's not really a small part. It's anything in any film for me is an honor. Like, someone was like, hey, could you be in my movie? And I'm like, yeah. Especially before I ever acted in something, the thought of being in a movie was so, mind-blowing. I was like, I'll do anything. And now I'm like, oh, God, you're going to make me drive? Like,
yeah. And to me, it's become very surreal to know I can turn on Amazon Prime and stream something I'm in.
Right. Which I never do.
That's a very surreal feeling to me.
Right. So okay. So again, I know we're supposed to get off, but I really want to. I'm really having a good time when you tell somebody you're an actor and they go, "Well, what have you done?" That's the first thing they do to me. Are you in anything I would know? And I always just
probably
go to
not.
Probably not. But I have a couple things on Prime, and they go, "Oh," like all of a sudden,
It changed.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, you have something on Prime?" And then I'm like, "Yeah, but listen, I'm barely in those movies."
Yeah, but the beauty of it is with Coffee Breaks, I think this one's going to have a really long life.
Agreed. This to me,
it's such a well-written script, and the characters are very quirky and very real.
Yes,
which I like.
It has it has a This Is Us, The Office, Napoleon Dynamite, like all of that combined, you know, and don't get me wrong, you know, it's its own thing, but it has that feel of the longevity those projects have, you know, to me.
Yes, and I would love to go to series and continue to be Mr. Miles, even if I only appear a few seconds at the time as a recurring character.
That's going to happen, according to Warren. We're willing that. Of course, I don't write the script, man. I can make all the promises in the world. I don't mean anything, but Warren can.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's like, but it's that optimism. That's what we were talking about before.
It's that. That's right. It's that optimism. But you know, thank
you can
God
come
for
through the room. It's okay.
Someone's coming.
My husband needed to come through the room, and it's like, you can come in.
Oh, I know. My family.
He works from home, so.
Yes, I don't know. I got people working from home. I got kids doing class, and you know.
You can say hello to Jason.
Hey there. How are you?
We've been together 17 years now.
Wow, that is good. That's remarkable.
Yep.
So on that note, it truly has been my pleasure to talk to you.
Mine as well, and now I can't wait to be face to face because I'm sure we can find plenty to talk about.
Oh, I'm sure we can. You know, let's give a few more things before we disconnect here. Tell the people where they can find you. You know, give your if you want, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Alexandra, all of those. Give us one more time.
Okay, I can be found at two different places on Facebook. It would be Walter D. Maseda at Facebook.com or Alexandra Elaine Michaels. That's exactly the same with Instagram. If people are in Florida and they're going to Comic-Con, I'll be there for the Rocky Horror Performance MCing, or rather Alexandra will. And as the club opens up, I'll put that up there where people will know they can come see me entertain if they're here. Wonderful. It's like I don't Twitter. I do not Twitter.
Don't tweet. No. Do you TikTok? You don't TikTok.
I do not TikTok.
No.
No.
Excellent. Again, Walter, thank you. To the audience, thank you. Coffee Breaks coming soon. Written by Tracy Simpson, directed by Matt Sly. Thank you, Walter Maseda. You've been a real.
Thank you, and I can't
pleasure.
wait till we get to do this.
My pleasure. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.